तिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तिशक्तिकम्। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य तोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेषुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदताम् ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आविश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुके। Reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, chapter number 9, verse number 13 and 14. So we are reading the Rāsa-līlā of Krishna, breaking the pot. So this is what Krishna does, breaks pots. People think that you come to spiritual life, everything is bed of roses, no problems, chant Hare Krishna, all problems solved. But you see, what Krishna is doing is creating problem, right? Instead of facilitating the service, he is causing trouble. So that's how he makes you strong or leave. Yeah, some people also leave. So he wants to see how determined you are. So when he broke the pot, Yashoda would think, what is this? I am trying to do seva to him and he is only breaking my pot. I will never do it. I will get angry. But what did she do? She was jahas, tacha. She laughed because she understood that Krishna is actually with me. He is concerned. He is not indifferent. Even if he is breaking the pot, he is not indifferent. And that's what we want. If he becomes indifferent, means he is not bothered. Samoham sarvabhutesu na medveshvasti na priya. Nobody is dear to me, nobody is my enemy, I am equal to all. So that is not what we want. So when we do devotional service, then anarthas manifest. Ado shraddha tata sadhu sangha tata bhajan kriya. Tato anartha. Nivritti is later, first anartha. So the anartha comes, or it's already there, it comes to surface. So anartha nivritti, that's how it happens. So it has to be understood clearly. That's the meaning of studying all these leelas, these pastimes, to understand that how Krishna is breaking the pot, and then Yashoda is smiling, and then she wants to catch him, and she does not give up. So she caught him, and now she wants to bind him. So tyaktva yashtim sutam bhitam vigyarvhak vatsala iye shakil tam baddhum damna tadvirya kovida. So then she threw away the stick because she did not want to scare him, and she thought, I will bind him. So why she wants to bind him? Because as we read in the commentary, she was worried that he may become afraid and run away from home. Sometimes children, they do that. This happened to one of our devotees. His daughter actually committed suicide. Had some problem fighting with the mother, and then she went and hanged herself. So therefore Yashoda, she understands that. So therefore she threw away the stick, did not want to scare him so much, and wanted to bind him so that he does not do some other nonsense. So now these two slokas are very important, and again remember the Paribhasha Sutra which Vishnu Chakravarti gave earlier when Krishna showed the universal form in his belly. So then Yashoda still continued. So Sa Amanshat Atmajam, think of him as her son. Her mood did not change. So same, you will see that he is showing so much of his opulence here. But she is saying, what is this? This little boy, why is that I cannot bind him? So she is trying to bind somebody who is described in this verse number 13 here. Na cha antar na bahiri yasya na purvam na api chaparam purva param bahischantar jagtoyo jagatchaya. So whom is she trying to bind? Says na cha antar na bahiri yasya. That who does not have inside or outside. Because something which is unlimited cannot have inside in relationship with something which is outside. But if he is all pervading, there is nothing outside. And if there is nothing outside, there is no inside. So there is no outside of him, and therefore there is no inside. So day and night, they are relative. If you go to sun planet, there is no day, there is no night. It's beyond that. So nacha antar na bahiri yasya na purvam napi chaparam. And there is nothing earlier or later. So there is nothing like that. So, Purvam Aparam, there is no beginning, there is no end. So, Purvam and Aparam, they are said twice. So, one is from the point of view of time, another from point of view of space. Bahischa antarjagto yo jagatchaya. So Bahischa antarjagto yo, and he is outside the universe and he is also inside, because he was standing inside, and he is also the universe. So all contradictory statements. He is inside, he is outside, and he is also the universe. He is inside universe, outside universe, he is the universe. So to such a person, what is she thinking about him? Tam matva atumjam. She is thinking that this is my son, born from me. That is her conviction. And conviction is so strong that no one can change it, including Krishna. Nobody has the power to change her conviction, her shraddha, staunch, that he is my son. So tam matva atmajam avyaktam martyalingam adhokshajam. And he is avyakta, he is unmanifest, he is martyalinga, he is appearing like a mortal child, but he is adhokshaja. So gopiko lu khale damna babandha prakritam yatha. So to such a person, this gopi bound just like one would bind a normal child. So this is the most amazing thing. There cannot be anything more amazing than this. That one who has no beginning, no end, no left, no right, no up, no down, no inside, no outside, no beginning, no end, who is everything and everything is in him, how can that person be bound by ropes which are just a small part of the universe? So, but she bound him. And she bound him just like as if he is an ordinary child. So prakritam yatha. So let's read the commentary. Brahmadi stamba, it's stamba, it should be stamba paryantam swamaya gunair nibandhanantam api sarvyapkam mahamaheshwaram tam swaprema baladeva pattamaya damna babandha api ityahanacha. So he who bounds everybody, beginning from Brahma up to the lowest thing, Brahmadi stamba paryantam swamaya gunair nibandhanantam api, who is binding everyone by his Maya gunas, the gunas of his Maya. And although he is Sarva Vyapaka, he is all pervading, and he is Mahamaheshwara, he is not only Ishvara but Maheshwara but Mahamaheshwara. So she bound him by the power of her love. So Prem Balad Eva, just using a rope made of cloth. So Pattamaya Damna Babandhapi. Na Chaiti Dvabhyam. This is described in the two slokas. So Bandhanam hi bahihi paritena damna avritasya parichinnasya vastuna sambhavati. So binding something means, if you want to bind some things, that object has to be parichinna, limited. You cannot bind something which is unlimited. And to bind something the rope has to go around it. If you want to bind a cow, the rope has to go around the neck. So it has to be long enough to cover the whole neck, and then little extra which will bind. If the rope is not going around the neck, if it is shorter than the circumference of the neck, you cannot bind with that rope. So that means both the rope and the object which is being bound are parichinna, means they are limited. So how is that she was able to bind somebody who is vibhu? Yasya tu vibhutvad bahir na vidyate tat pratyogitvad antascha na vidyate. So if he is vibhu, then there is nothing outside. Vibhu means so he is everywhere. So if he is everywhere, there is nothing outside him. And if there is nothing outside, then there is no inside. Because inside is only relative to outside. When you say I am inside the room, because the room is limited. But if it is unlimited, then there is no such thing as inside or outside. So therefore, there is na antar na bahiryasya. Na vidyate tatra kveva damna sthatavya. So if there is no inside and no outside, where will you put the rope to bind him? Because to bind, it has to come within the rope. But if he does not have anything outside, then the rope cannot go outside him and bind him. So if you know this, you would not even attempt to do that, because it is foolishness to do this. So Yashoda did not bother about that. Kimva tena avaritavyam iti bhava. So you have to avaritavyam means you have to surround it. You have to make an avarana. You have to cover the whole surface of the object you want to bind. Sarvadesh desha vyapakatva muktva prasangat sarvakala vyapakatva mahava na purvam napi chaparam. So this limitation can happen by space, it can happen by time. All the objects which we see all around her, they are limited by space, parichinna, because they only occupy a certain amount of space. Similarly, the objects are also parichinna by time. They are limited by time, because all the objects which we see, they come into existence at a particular point in time and they will be destroyed. So they are parichinna by that amount of time. Means they exist only in that period of time. Before that and outside that, they don't exist. So he says that he is not parichinna, limited like that. He is not conditioned by space or by time. So he is sarva desha vyapaka and sarva kala vyapaka. So yasmat praka paschata kalo nasta ityartha. So when object comes into existence, the time existed before the object came, object was produced, and time will exist after the object comes to an end. But such is not the case with Krishna. There is no time before him, there is no time after him. So in Chatusloki Bhagavatam it says, Ahameva samevagre nanyad sadasat param paschadadetat chaya avshishet swasmiham. So I was there in the beginning, and I am in the middle, and I will be in the end. So there is nothing which is a paricheda for him, which delimits him. He is not delimited by space or by time. So therefore it says yasmat prak paschat kalo na sata sta ityartha. Kincha vyapkena vyapyasya bandho bhavati taccha atra vipritam ityah. So something which is vyapaka, which pervades, that binds that which is pervaded. Right? Means that which is going to bind something is bigger than what is bound. So what binds is called vyapaka or pervader, and which is bound is called pervaded. So there is nothing which pervades him in time and space. Also there is nothing which pervades him in by object. So there is a desh paricheda, kal paricheda and vastu paricheda. That's why in Nyaya they have three types of abhavas. They have praga bhav, pradhansa bhav. They have four types, and the other is called anyonya bhav. So anyonya bhav means vastu paricheda bhav in his case. So praga bhav, pradhansa bhav and atyanta bhav. So he says purva paramiti jagatchaiti tat shakti karyatvat. So he is purva aparam. So he was before the universe came into existence. He will be afterwards. Ayameva asameva agre nanyat sadasat param. So paschadade tatchayo avshishtet swasmin. So purva means before the jagat. Purvam aparam bahischa antar jagatoya. So he is before the universe, after the universe, outside the universe, inside the universe. Bahirantas. And he is also the universe, Jagatchaya. So Jagatchaya iti tat shakti karyatvat. Because the universe is manifest from his potency, janmadyasyata. So Janmadi, creation, sustenance and dissolution, they all happen from him. So he is the Karana, Nimitta Karana, and Upadan Karana. All that is he. So then what can bind him? Tatascha sampurnena jagatapi tad bandho na sambhavet. Kim punar jagad amsansh bhutena damna ityartha. Therefore the whole universe also cannot bind him. Because universe is coming from just part of his one potency. So nishvasitam vilama jagadandanatha loma vilajad jagadandanatha. Universes are coming from the loma vila, from the pores of his body. So then how this universe cannot bind him? Then what is the possibility that one small part of the universe, the rope, can bind him? Nacha sakaratvena tasya vibhutvam sambhavet iti vachyam. So then one will say, and this is why the Advaitvadis, they don't think that God has a form ultimately. He says anything which is sakar, which has a form, is limited. Which has form cannot be unlimited. So how is it possible that something which has a form can be vibhu? So that's why all the Abrahamic religion, they also think God has no form. See the conclusion of many people. But here Krishna is sakar and he is vibhu. This is what he is showing. So he is vibhu, he is God, is all pervading. This is part of the truth. He also is having a form. So people conclude that just because He is all pervading, he cannot have form. So sakarasya eva tasya udare sarva jagat idantaspadasya yashodaya drishtatvat. Because he already gave the proof of it, that he was small baby eating the clay, and inside his body he showed the universe. So how is this possible? So this is beyond logic. This is the meaning of achintya. Logically it cannot be understood. There is no logic which can explain this. It's impossible. So tarhi sa katham babandha. So then how was it possible for Yashoda to bind such a person? What is her magic? She must have some tantra, mantra, right? Black magic of Bengal, they say. Kala Jadu, Bengal. But when you go to Bengal, there is no magic. Right? Then they say it is in Assam. So, the reason for that is that tatrahatam atmajam matva. Because she was thinking he is my son, which is true. That is also true. He is Maheshwara, Mahamaheshwara, but he is also Yashoda's son. So Yashoda is seeing him as son, and therefore she can bind him. If she was thinking he is Maheshwara, she would not be able to bind him. Devaki cannot bind him, but Yashoda did. So asadharana vatsalya prema vishay kritva ityartha. What is the meaning of this tam matva atmajam? That thinking of him as her own son, she bound him. It says because of this supreme vatsalya prema, this love as a mother for him, thinking of him as her son. So this love is so powerful that this vibhutva becomes parichinnatva. This all-pervading feature of Krishna becomes limited. So that is the power of prema. This is the most powerful thing. There is nothing more powerful than this, more powerful than Ishvara himself, because he is going to get into trouble. So Vatsalya Prema Vishay Kritva. So making him as the object of his own Vatsalya Prema, then she was able to bind him. Which means that that is the only way he can be bound or attained or approached. Not by yoga, not by na sadhyati mam yoga, na sankhya dharmuddha, na swadhyas tapostyage yatha bhaktir mamorjita. So all this sankhya, yoga, swadhyaya, tapas, tyag, this cannot bind him. Only urjita bhakti. Yatha bhaktir mamorjita. Powerful means intense prema. That is the urjita bhakti. So then he comes under the sway of the love. So tasya premadhinatvat. Why? Because he is the one. Not only he, everybody is under the control of prema. Prema is such a thing. Vibhutva api achintya shaktya eva bandhanam iti. So although he is vibhu, although he is all pervading, so what is vibhu? Sarva murta dravya sanyogi vibhutvam. Tarksangra says like this. Right? So it's in contact with all the murta dravyas. And murtatvam nam? Kriyavatvam, that which moves, that is murta. Therefore manas is murta padartha, akash is not murta. So vibhutva api achintya shaktya eva bandhanam. So although he is vibhu, but by his achintya shakti he was bound. Avyaktam prem vashyatvad prachanni bhutam. Although he is avyakta, but by the power of prema of Yashoda, he became limited. Maheshwarya Martyalingam Manusyakaram Tadapi Adhokshajam Atindriyam. So he has Maheshwarya, he has supreme Aishwarya, and yet he is Martyalingam. So all the contradictory things are shown here, that he is Adhokshaja, yet he is Martyalingam. Martyalingam means mortal, which means he is Akshaja, means he can be perceived with our senses. He is Indriya Gochara, and yet he is Adhokshaja. He is Avyakta, yet he is son of Yashoda. So these are the characteristics which are inconceivable or beyond logic. Yatha prakritam badhnati tathaiva chit punjam apitam babandha. So just as one can bind a mortal child, because mortal child is made of matter, right? So Prithvi, Jal, Tej, all these three main elements are made. Pinda, idam shariram kaunteya, kshetram itya vidhiyate. But he is Satchidananda, he is a Chitpunja. He is not mortal, he is not made of earth, water, fire, air. His body is consciousness, Chidghan, compact consciousness. So how can you bind that? Can you bind consciousness? You have consciousness, can you bind it? No. So he was bound. This is what has to be think. How can you bind Chetana? It's like you bind electricity. It can flow into something, but you cannot bind it. So Chitpunjam api tam babandha iti aho prem balam tasya iti bhava. So this is the great surprise, that Yashoda bound him. So he says, just see the power of Yashoda, how powerful she is. See the sense behind these slokas. Yes.
Could you please explain again this sentence more in the beginning? Vastunaha sambhavati yasya tu vibhutvad bahir na vidyate tat pratyogitvad. So
Yeah, that which does not have external will not have internal. Yasya tu vibhutvad bahir na vidyate tat pratyogitvad antascha na vidyate. So because it is vibhu, so it does not have something outside it. And if it does not have the outside, it does not have inside, because inside is a pratyogi of outside. So if outside is not there, then our inside is not there.
So the tat here means the bahir.
Bahir. Yes.
Like this, from this commentary, we get that prema is the power to bind anyone. For that matter, even Krishna is bound, so anyone else also can be bound. And then,
so you want to be bound or you want to be free?
Bound by prema.
So people have this contradictory desires in this material world, that's why they suffer. You see now why people suffer, because their desires are contradictory. They want to remain free and they want prema. So they get into trouble. So they should decide whether you want to be free or you want prema. You cannot have both. It is like I want to have the cake and also eat it. So either you eat it or you have it. So you want to have it and you want to eat it. It doesn't work. So this is where all the problems come in this material world. Everybody wants to have a loving relationship, and then they want freedom. Because they don't understand that these two things are contradictory. So therefore they are always in tension. They want to come close and they want to stay away. They want to stay away, then they want to come close. So this push and pull, you have seen that, what is called tug of war. So this is the war going on. So what?
Actually, my question was probably that, from this shloka and from the commentary, we see that there is two ways. Like Yashoda is also in love with Krishna, and Krishna is also in love with Yashoda.
No, love is like that.
But my question was that supposing you have love for someone but the other person doesn't have, so then what happens?
It's basically a hypothetical question, that's all I can say. What happens is that if you have love for somebody and if your love is really true, then the other person will also change. But it's just, as I said, it's a hypothetical thing. You think you have love and the other person does not have, and you also don't have. It's mostly attachment, material attachment, which is given the appellation of love.
Babaji Maharaj, can I please ask a question?
Yes.
So how would we experience this love?
How would you experience? This is the whole process of bhakti. So, sa bhakti tridha. Rupa Goswami says bhakti is three types: sadhana, bhava, prema, chaita. So sadhana leads to bhava and then culminates in prema. That is the only way you can experience. Materially you can experience little bit, but it's unstable. As I said, it's basically material attachment. Because people in the material world, they are ignorant about their own self. And they identify with the body. So at bodily level, the love is not there. Because body is very limited. Body has its own demands, whether you like it or don't like it. And love means becoming free from your own demands. So body demands food, it demands sleep, it demands rest, it demands so many things. So how it will love? Then at the mental level you can have some satisfaction, which is attachment, but that is flickering because mind is not stable. So love is only possible at the Atma level, at the soul level. Because soul does not have any of its own demands like body has. And soul is not flickering. Its swarupa is fixed. Na jayate mriyate va kadachan. So it does not become old, die, nothing. So therefore it can happen only at that level. This is the whole philosophy. But people don't want to do that, they don't want to accept it. They only want love at material level. So that's why I said, therefore they remain in this tug of war and get into trouble. So then they make compromise, right? So that is called contract. So let's make a contract. So therefore, like marriage is actually a contract. So if you make the contract, then you become bound by it, by the contract. Now people are not valuing that, so they drop the contract, make another contract. Okay. Any other question? So these are very important slokas to understand what is prema, because this is what we want. So now this is being explained here. Srutena arthena chanjasa savarnyanti mahatmana srutena arthena chanjasa. The Mahatmas, they describe sometimes directly, Shruta, that this is prema, like you read Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it's a direct explanation, there is no story there. He directly says, Anyabhilasita sunyam gyan karma dinavritam. So he already scares you. So this is Anjasa, this is not telling you anything, he is telling somebody else's story. So telling story means you can hear it, because it does not involve you, but actually it's to teach you. That's why Mahatmas describe it. Otherwise, what is their interest? Of course, their Krishna's stories are relishable. Tameva Shrunyada Bhikshanam. So always hear this. But it also has a teaching behind them.
So, about this misconception of the freedom.
Yeah,
So, that through love, basically, there is this freedom idea to be free, and at the same time, there is also this idea that love is bounding. So, the two things. What exactly is this misconception about I want to be free, but I also want to experience love?
No, because people don't know the definition of love. See, the thing is that they don't know what is love. If they know what is love, they will not want freedom.
They want to be bound.
Krishna is bound. He is not saying, I want to go away from here. He is happy. So because people do have a misconception of love, so then they demand freedom. If they know what is love, then who wants freedom? Freedom is boring. Because this is the real freedom. This is the contradictory thing. Love is the only freedom. There is no freedom other than that. This so-called other freedom is not freedom, because you are bound by your mind itself, which is right next to you. Don't have to go somewhere else. You are troubled by your own mind. There is no one else. Maneva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshaya. It is the cause of bondage. Bandha. Moksha, he says, it is also the cause of liberation. Forget about that. That part is not applicable to you. Maneva manushyanam karanam bandha. Mind is the cause of bondage. The second part is not applicable. It's also the cause of liberation, but we don't know that. So it's cause of bondage. So it is mind which is binding you. So as long as you have a mind, there is never going to be freedom. So therefore Osho said, no mind meditation. He was giving freedom to people. So, but mind, where are you going to throw it away? It's sticking to you. Just like the flower has a fragrance, you cannot separate them. There is samvaya sambandha. So fortunately we don't have samvaya sambandha. It can be separated. So atmanaiv hi atmano bandhu atmaiv ripur atmane, Krishna says. That atmanaiv ripur atmane. It is atma which is the enemy. It is binding. So atmana bandhu yas. Yen atmanaiv atmana jita. Anatmanastu satrutve varteta. So when you control the mind, then it is your friend, otherwise it is only binding you. So that is the only solution. There is no other solution, this bhakti. All other things are there to keep you busy, but it doesn't work. So that's what he will say. Sukadeva Goswami will say that. So prasadam lebhire gopi. Nayam sukhapo bhagavan. Dehi nam gopika sukha. Anything else? So taddam badhya manasya swarbhakasya kritagasah dvangulonam abhutena sandadhe nyatya gopika. So now this is the fun part. This 9th chapter, this Dambandhan Leela is very important and very instructive. Therefore Krishna has name for this Damodara. He did so many other Leelas and he has names for them also, but this is very popular name, Damodara. So once he started binding him, Taddam Badhya Manasya Swarbhakasya. Whom he was binding? His own Arbhaka, his own baby. Arbhaka means small baby. But which kind of baby? Kritagasa, who has committed a mistake, who has committed an offense by breaking the pot. Yashoda says, why are you breaking pots? Because he was going and breaking pots of other gopis also. So this is what I am saying, that you become a devotee, he breaks your pot. So he did not break only Yashoda's pot. All the neighboring people, they complained, they came and complained. Now only Yashoda is realizing they are right. Previously she was not believing it. So they are just blaming my child. So now she is seeing Prataksha Pramana. Previously it was Shabda Pramana. So Prataksha is superior than everything else. So Dvangulo Unam Abhut. So then what happened? That she took the rope and she tried to bind. It looked long enough to tie him, but when she took it around Krishna, the rope fell short of the width of 2 fingers. This much. Dvayungala unam abhutena sandadhe anyaccha gopika. But Gopika is also Gopika. She is not a weak person. She is powerful, she is strong. She also eats butter and drinks milk and yogurt and all the sweet rice, everything. So she also has strength. So she said, no. So she took another rope. She called the servant that Sukhiya, Ari Sukhiya Alali, bring one more rope. So she brought. Cowherd people have a lot of ropes because they need. So she brought another rope. So Sandadhe, she tied it, tied to the first one. So Premna Sambhavishyati api tasya bandhane pratmam tadakarasya matri kroda parichinnasya api vibhutvam aha tribhi taddamiti. So although it is possible to bind Krishna with love, but he did not become bound just like that. First you have to do little effort. So love is not something which is easily available, that I want love and then you get it. No, you also have to work. You have to work hard. Not so simple, because it's sudurlabha. Haruna asudayati syat dvidha sudurlabha. So sadhano gai ranasange alabhya suchiradapi. Sadhana, you do a lot of sadhana, suchirad for a long time, still you don't get it. If it is anasanga, if you are not doing it from your heart, so sadhano gair anasangair alabhya suchiradapi harina shudeiti. And it is also not easily given by Hari. So it is yaddudha sudurlabha. Therefore it is sudurlabha because of these two reasons. That first of all, we don't put our heart into it as Yashoda is putting her heart. She is not thinking of anything else now. She is completely focused. Here I have to bind this child. She forgot about all other. This was day of Deepavali, big festival is going on. They have Indra Yaga will be performed. So all that she dropped. She got first I have to tie him down, then I will do my other homework. She has a lot of work to do. Already the pot is broken, so all the yogurt is spread there. She has to clean up the act, and then she has to prepare things for this big yaga. So she said, better I tie him, otherwise he will do some other nonsense. I will have time to do my work. But tying him is not easy. So she got involved in this. So the rope was short. So although it is possible to bind him, premna sambhavishyati api, that it will happen by the love, but in the beginning it did not happen. Tasya bandhane pratham tadakarasya matri kroda parichinnasya api vibhuttam. And although she is holding Krishna in her lap every day, so small, Yashoda is little chubby, but even that little boy was amazing. He was Vibhu. So nobody has seen a Vibhu like this. When you think of Vibhu, if you think of something all-pervading in your mind, you think of vast open space or time which has no beginning, no end. But here he is standing and he is Vibhu. So this is called Vibhu personified. People say, what does it mean, personification? So Vibhu became personified, standing there. He is Vibhu only, not that Vibhutva is not in him, but he is looking parichinna, limited. So simultaneously. So Tribhi, in the three slokas, it is now being described how the same Krishna who is every day in Yashoda's lap is Vibhu. Because now he is not in the lap, he is standing in front. So sahacharai saha khelnam para griheshu dadhicharyam cha avashyakam pratyahnika krityam chikirshor mam bandhanam ma bhavatu iti tadichhayam jatayam mat prabhu ka badhniyat iti tadiya satya sankalpta shaktya prerita vibhuta shakti sahasa eva taddehe pradurbhut ityah dungulam. So when Krishna was standing there, he was having his own thought. Yashoda is having her own thought. Yashoda is thinking, let me tie him and then I have to do my whole, because it was just day started. It was just the beginning morning time. I have so many things to do. And Krishna is thinking, if she binds me, how will I go and play? I have to go and play with my friends. I have to steal butter. I also have my homework. So if I am put into the corner like this, how will I do my homework? So he says, no, I don't want to be bound like this. I have my daily chores. Pratyanik kritya, that is the meaning. Pratyanik means daily duties. I have my daily duties to perform. What is the daily duty? Pargrihesu dadhicharyam. Stealing yogurt from others' house. This is my job. Otherwise, how will I have makhan chor? Then I will not live to my name. I have to live up to my name. There are many people, some sadhus here, they call Khadeshwari, right? Dudhadhari, one who is standing, one who is drinking milk, but they are eating feast. So this is not true. So Krishna says, no, I don't want to be a fake person like this. If you call me makhan chor, if you call me butter thief, I better allow me to do it. And I don't want to take a break, like weekend break or anything. Thank God it's Friday, I don't have to steal now. No, I will do stealing, I will 7 days a week. So otherwise I am not a makhan chaura. So dadhi chaurya cha avashyakam. So this is compulsory for me. I cannot live without it. So pratyani krityam, this is my daily act. Chikirshor mam bandhanam ma bhavatu. So I want to do this, therefore I don't want to be bound like this. So when he was thinking like this, then his Shakti, Satya Sankalpa Shakti, means his power. One of the characteristic of God is that he is Satya Sankalpa. That whatever he resolves, it happens. So that Shakti became active. So my Lord, he doesn't want to be bound. So then when she became active, then she told the other Shakti, the all-pervading Shakti, he says, now you become active. So then Vibhuta Shakti, suddenly she became active. Till now these Shaktis were just sitting inside. They don't interfere, Yashoda is there, they will get beaten up by her. So Yashoda said, no, you are not here, you can do this in Mathura, Dwarka, wherever, but not here in Braj. You are not allowed all these things. So, but now they got, prodded. So then Vibhutva Shakti, she became active. And therefore when she became active, the rope fell short. So Dvayangulonam Dvabhyam Angulibhyam Apurnam. So it was short by the width of 2 fingers. Tatascha Tena Damna Saha Anyat Dama Sandadhe. So then what did Yashoda do? She also did not give up. He says, I don't care for Vibhutva, Parishinnatva. He says, I'm not influenced by these things. So she got another rope and she joined them and then again tried. So Anyat Dam Sandadhe Granthim Dattva Jugumfai Tirtha. So put a knot and was ready to bind him with another one. Yada si tadapi nyunam tenanyadapi sandadhe tadapi dvangulam nyunam yadyadadatte bandhanam. So now this was the fun part, that she took that and then she tried to bind him and that also fell short. So she was surprised. What is this? So then she took another one, tena anyadapi sandade, and tadapi dvangulam nyunam. That also became nyuna by 2 fingers. So yadyadadatte bandhanam, whatever ropes, she did not stop. So she continued bringing ropes after ropes after ropes after ropes. How many ropes came? She went on and on and on and on. And it became a rope festival, like a rope shop. There are ropes and ropes and ropes and ropes, but they could not bind him. So badhyate anenaiti bandhanam dama. So bandhanam in this sloka means rope by which you bind. So we'll stop here and then she will continue to try.
So speaking about the Shaktis, the intention, or is the intention here that there's Satya Sankalpada Shakti, this activates the Vibhutva Shakti and so on, but they are all overpowered finally by the
Prema Shakti.
Yeah.
Kripa Shakti. His Kripa overpowers everything. That is the most powerful. So therefore you can disregard all other Shaktis.
And you mentioned that Krishna has names according to his Leela, for example Damodara here. So I was wondering, because Srila Jiva Goswami's deity also has this name. Is it somehow known, like how it got this name? Is it
No, it must be inspired to name them like that. Okay.
In one sense, basically, when Krishna decided that she will be able to bhakti.
Yeah.
So that's why it happens. Then, because we don't think that Lord of Yashoda Mata, Lord has this power to bhakti. So that then
No, that Kripa came because of the love.